Hi, it's Marg Scheben-Edey here from RE/MAX Four Seasons Realty in beautiful Collingwood. Today our point to ponder is, how do you go about choosing a real estate agent to represent you in the sale of your home? And it's interesting because before I started in the real estate business almost 3 decades ago, I had different ideas about it than I do now. Really, I guess I want to start with a question. If you needed a life-saving operation, would you just go into the first doctor you were sent to and not ask about their success rate or what their skills or qualifications are and just blindly trust that they're going to save your life? Probably not. Or what if you had hundreds of thousands of dollars, perhaps a windfall, that you wanted to invest? Would you just hand it over to a friend or a family member to look after that asset for you, regardless of their skills or abilities and success rate? Probably not. Really, when you're selling your property, it could be your home or another piece of real estate, it's usually one of the largest assets that you own. And hiring the agent who is going to represent you in the sale of that property really requires some careful thought and consideration. You know, today I think people are often inundated, whether it's flyers in the mailbox or emails or Facebook posts, whatever. They're inundated by real estate agents wanting their business. And in this area here in South Georgian Bay, we have over 500 realtors and about 3,800 properties a year that are listed for sale, which is an average of about just 7 listings for an agent. So it's a very, very competitive business. Now, a large number of those agents are dabbling in the business. Maybe they do 1 or 2 sales a year. Some of them are, maybe a little bit inactive really, but nonetheless, it is a really crowded field and it's quite saturated. So how do you choose? I'm going to start by talking about how not to choose your sales representative. Often I find that when people list their property for sale and I ask them how they chose their agent, people automatically go to a family member or a friend. And I understand that because trust is an enormous part of the process. But just going to a family or friend is it's a risky strategy, kind of like handing your money over to that family or family member or friend and asking them to look after it for you. And, are you really doing the very best in protecting yourself? Other people will walk into an open house and they think the agent is nice, or maybe they met them during a property showing. Again, nice is a bit of a risky business strategy, but it could be a good starting point. Many people will go back and deal with an agent they dealt with previously. That's a great indicator because it means that they had a good experience, there's rapport, and they know exactly what they're dealing with. So that's often a great way to do it. I want to talk about, though, referrals and recommendations. And I used to believe that was probably the most important starting point. And it is a good starting point to ask around to people who've had a good experience. But I've really noticed something interesting watching social media like Facebook. I'll often see people post a question asking, can someone recommend a good real estate agent in the area? And there'll often be 100, 150, 200 responses. And I'll look down the list at the names that are there and I'm shocked. Often they're agents that are not even in the area. Sometimes they're retired. Many of them are inactive agents or agents who again may be dabbling in the business. And very few people ever explain why they are recommending the person that they're putting there. Really, they're recommending regardless of that person's skills or qualifications. Another way that people sometimes pick an agent is by the person who has the most for sale signs. And I guess the comment I would make about that is, if the sign says for sale, all those signs say for sale, and they don't say sold, maybe it's time to think about that strategy again. So now we're going to talk about how should you choose your sales representative. And recommendations are a good place to start. But you might want to take that a step further and find out why are they recommending that person and what are some specific examples or evidence of success that they can offer to you. And I really do recommend that you interview and that you interview 2 to 3, preferably 3 people. You're going to learn something from each one of them that will probably help you down the line in getting your property sold. And when you interview, it's really important the questions that you ask are going to help lead you to the right answer of who's the best person for you. And I've actually prepared a list of 30 questions that I think are really powerful and really insightful. And we'll talk about that more in a moment because you can certainly get a copy of that. Once you've chosen 2 or 3 people that you'd like to interview, they will probably come and meet with you and do what we call a listing presentation. And one of the first things I would look for is their presentation focused on their company and the awards that they have and how long they've been in the business, or is it focused on you and your needs? And there is merit, certainly, to knowing about the agent's success and about the company, the brokerage that you'd be dealing with. But I think the most important thing is that their listing presentation is focused on you. So you do want to know what's their track record. What percentage of the properties they list for sale sell, and in what time frame, and what percentage of the asking price do they sell for? This is hard data, hard statistics, and see if they actually have that in their listing presentation and evidence of that for more than a year, for maybe the last 5 years or 10 years, so that you can have an idea of if there really is a strong record of success there. You want to talk about how they're going to market your property. And one of the things I'd suggest is to see, is it an off-the-shelf marketing plan, or is it a marketing plan that's customized to your property? Every property is different. And the nature of the buyer for each property is different, and it requires a unique marketing plan. So ask for specifics, ask how they develop that marketing plan and why they feel it's the right marketing strategy for your property. A competent sales rep is going to have that information at their fingertips. The other thing you can ask for is for testimonials or recommendations. There are public websites out there like Rank My Agent, if you Google them. But I would ask the agent, do they have clients that you can actually call and hear about what their experience was? Another question is, are they part of a team? And what does that mean? You may be interviewing that agent because you want their skills and experience, but are you going to be working with that person or with somebody else on their team? Or do they have do they have a strong administrative support team, which is also very critical to the transaction? The things that I wouldn't get hung up on are things like the commission rate. A good agent is going to be worth every penny of their fee. And there's a saying that the cheapest is not always the best, and that's true in real estate as well. If there's a discounted fee, something else is going to be discounted. Will it be the marketing? Will it be the incentive that they offer to another agent to sell your property? That's a discussion in itself. I also would never choose the agent who gives the highest price solely for that reason. If you price your property too high, chances are that the property will not sell and that you'll have a limited number of showings. If you price it too low, then you risk leaving money on the table. So it's important to look at the agent's competitive market analysis, the general market data, and then most importantly, how are they interpreting that data for you so that in the end of the day, you set the price of your property. The biggest thing of all that I would say you want to look for is rapport and trust with your realtor. Selling a property is, it's usually as a result of some big change in life, and it can be fraught with emotion, and certainly it impacts your life as well as your pocketbook. And you want to make sure that you feel great about the agent that you've chosen and that you have 100% trust that they have your best interest at the forefront all the time. So business is business. As I say, it's really important to have a strategy and really important to interview. If you'd like a copy of the 30 questions that you might want to ask in an interview that I mentioned earlier, don't hesitate to get in touch with me. I'm happy to send you a copy. And if you're in the South Georgian Bay region and would like to talk to me about selling your property, I'd love to hear from you. Thanks very much. Ciao for now.